Once, in a small, rundown town, there was a place called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. The locals used to speak in whispers about the strange happenings that occurred behind its walls after dark. It had been years since the place had closed down, but the legend of Freddy and his animatronic friends lived on in hushed tones. The story begins with a young man named David, a curious soul who had heard the stories about the pizzeria's haunted past. Despite warnings, he decided to venture into the abandoned building one night, hoping to uncover the truth for himself. He had heard about the 5 animatronics: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the puppet, all of whom were said to move on their own and engage in terrifying activities after the place had closed. David, with only a flashlight and a sense of invincibility, stepped inside. The air was thick with dust, and the floor creaked under his feet. As he turned a corner toward the security office, a faint whirring sound echoed through the halls. Suddenly, the sound of heavy footsteps behind him made David freeze. He spun around, heart pounding, but saw nothing. The pizzeria seemed empty. He continued, but something wasn't right. The walls seemed to close in, and his flashlight revealed shadows that shouldn't be there. Then, in the dim light, David saw him, Freddy Fazbear, standing motionless. His eyes were wide and glassy, but the smile on his face was chilling. The bear's body was rusty, covered in grime and old stage makeup, but the eyes, they seemed alive. As David approached, Freddy's mouth opened wide, and the laughter of a child echoed through the halls. The temperature dropped. The air turned thick with the smell of decay. David stumbled back, realizing too late that he wasn't alone. The other animatronics, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, emerged from the shadows, their gears and joints creaking as they moved toward him. Freddy's voice echoed, low and threatening. "You shouldn't have come here." Terrified, David ran, but the animatronics were faster than he expected. They pursued him relentlessly, their eyes glowing red, their laughter filling the halls. He ducked into the security office, but it was too late. The door slammed shut behind him. Trapped, he glanced at the security monitors, but what he saw was even worse. On the screens, staring directly at him, their faces twisted in grotesque smiles. David screamed as Freddy approached, his voice deep and mocking. "This is what happens when you forget the past." In the end, the building was abandoned again, but some say David's soul was trapped inside, becoming another part of the haunting. And now, every night, the animatronics wait in the darkness for another curious soul to enter. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza may have closed, but the terror inside never truly ends. And some believe that if you listen closely enough, you can still hear the faint sound of a child's laughter just before the doors lock behind you.